Hello, welcome back to our live coverage of the UN climate talks. So we're going to be here with you for the next couple of hours. Delighted to say that we've got Gro Svenstrup and Vera Sitali from the World Association of Girl Guides and Girl Scouts. We got there eventually. So I should ask you to introduce yourselves first. Where are you from, and why are you at the climate talks for the benefit of our viewers? So I'll start with you, Marie.
My name is Marie, and I'm from Denmark.
And you've come to the climate talks with the Girl Guides. Why are the Girl Guides here?
The Girl Guides are here because we are, as a part of the Millennium Development Goals, one of the goals is to ensure sustainability. And we want to be a part of that, and we work very closely about that. So that's basically our goal here.
Okay, cool. And Vera, where are you from?
My name is I'm Vera from Zambia. I'm here because we as the Girl Guides are here because we want to ensure that the girl child is given the full education that she requires. As they say that education of the girl child is the education of the nation. So we believe in that and we stick to that. We want full participation of the girl child in the policy making processes.
It's a powerful message, and do you think that that your presence here is helping to achieve that? Do you feel that you've managed to kind of change the tone of the conference and participate here?
Of course, yes.
What kind of activities have you been doing?
We've been doing a lot of lobbying. We are working closely together with the Young Girls, the other youth organizations. We are trying to emphasize every single time we have the opportunity. We ask the questions: what about the women? How are they going to be affected? What do you think about this? In order to create awareness about how women are disproportionately affected by the climate changes, and to ensure that the people know that women are powers of change as well. So we would say that the best place to invest is in the women.
And how big is the Girl Guides and Girl Scouts movement? Like, how many people are there in this movement?
We represent 10 million members across the globe in 145 countries.
Okay, so it's potentially a really powerful voice.
Yeah.
And kind of how long have you been thinking about climate change personally? Did you come to it? Did you come to this kind of issue through your participation with the Girl Guides, or is it something that you were passionate about before, Vera?
As for me, I think it's something I'm passionate about, and on the other side, it's because of my Girl Guides group. And back home, I've seen that climate change is affecting us so much, in that there are food shortages, the floods, especially in the rainy season. As in right now, it's a rainy season, so I don't even know the situation back home. It's really affecting us badly.
So you're seeing it on a day-to-day basis. You think you're feeling the impacts of climate change?
Yes.
And is it something that when you come to these talks, and you're from Denmark and Zambia, and does it help you to empathise and kind of swap stories and relate? Is that something that kind of a big part of this movement? Because some of the youth that we talk to, they say that one of the really empowering things about coming to these talks is the fact that you network together and you're building a really powerful voice. Do you think that that's something that Girl Guides can achieve by coming here and working with other organisations?
Of course, we achieve some of that, but we come from a very powerful association. We are a lot of people in ourselves, and we have done this. The UN it's around 50 years old. The Girl Guides, we are 100 years old. We have been doing this for many years. Before all the climate debate, we were engaged in environmental issues. So it's not something new for us. It's just like we're just continuing what we always have been doing.
And how do you think women's participation is kind of dealt with here? Because the lead negotiators are mainly men, and lots of the delegations are dominated by men. And sometimes people say to me they feel the tone of the talks kind of feels very kind of aggressive and masculine, if you want to associate those together. Like, do you feel that women's participation is sufficient, and kind of how can you work to change it?
I don't believe women's participation is sufficient before there's gender equality. But I believe it's getting better, and I believe some of the main players like Connie Hedegaard, the European Climate Commissioner, she is very passionate about the gender issue, and other prominent women. and I believe it's getting better, but I believe we still have to struggle. And I think every single time we speak up and are well prepared and know what we are talking about, we are emphasizing that we are a voice, and we do know something about it, and we are important.
And in Zambia, what kind of activities do the Girl Guides engage with on a week-to-week basis when you meet? And is climate change something you talk about, or are you implementing projects on the ground, or is it more of an education kind of issue? How are you engaging with the issue of climate change back home when you're in your Girl Guiding groups?
It's kind of an education, but on the other side, it's also on the implementary side. We educate ourselves on climate change and find ways in which we can implement them. And we do this by acting, and we plant trees like every after 2 weeks. We plant 4 trees at each school, and we have done such a project in about 8 schools so far, and we're yet to go to other schools and do the same.
And do you feel positive about the role that you could potentially have here? Because at these climate talks, sometimes it's quite easy to feel a little bit or depressed. I think some people find them in these grey hangers, and year after year it's very difficult. But with such a big movement behind you, and to hear you talking about the power that you feel that you have as a organisation and as women, it's quite inspiring. Do you think that you feel positive about the prospects for women within these talks, and also positive about your future in a world that's going to be impacted by climate change?
Well,
it's a big question, I know.
Well, positive. Come again.
Optimistic, perhaps.
I believe that if we trust that, I believe personally that if we put all our effort into it, I think we could use the World Association of Girl Guides and Girl Scouts as one of the main factors in coping with climate change. I believe we are the power of change, and I believe we are the channel which will be very useful to use.
This is a really powerful message, and you've been talking about the importance of girls and educating girls to educate a nation. What kind of role do you think that the Girl Guides has there? What kind of issues do you confront in your girl guiding groups that maybe you don't get at school, or that you don't have just with your peers? How does the Girl Guides help?
The Girl Guides do this by coming together, and that's when Girl Guides come together and educate each other, we call that non-formal education. Even though some girls cannot go to school and get that education which is formal, they'll still be educated by their peers, and we call that non-formal education. And by getting education from a person of the same age group, I think it has a big impact in that there's so much to learn from your fellow age mates.
We're going to bring our viewers an update from Salim Al-Hook, who's a policy expert, after this discussion. But before we kind of dive into some of the detail of these talks, I just wanted to get your impressions about being in this centre and being here, and is it something that you feel that you can kind of really participate in on a day-to-day basis? What's the contribution you feel you can make here? Is it more about changing the tone, or is it? You said you've been lobbying for the participation of women. Do you feel that you're able to get down into the policy sometimes, or is it mainly about the kind of the atmosphere here?
I feel that we are able to get down and do have an actual impact. Do you know about Article 6?
I have heard a little bit about it, but you should share it with our viewers.
Yeah, we are due to a huge lobbying effort. The Article 6 was changed, which nobody believed beforehand. And Article 6 is about non-formal education, all that kind of stuff. And that is, I think, is one of the best examples of that. It does matter that we are here.
That's a positive note to leave the discussion on. So I'll just say to Marie and Vera, thank you so much for joining us. And we're going to go to a video now for our viewers. They're going to find an update from Salim Al Hook on the policy discussions. And we're actually going to be talking to some other members of the youth movement about Article 6 later today. So I'd encourage our viewers to stay tuned and they can find out some more about that. But Vera and Marie, thank you very much.
Thank you.